Welcome back to RPG Elite, where we put the RP back into RPG, giving you tools and tips that's going to make your RPG experience more immersive and enjoyable. Servant of Shiloh here, and we're back with another video, even though we're a little late because we're kind of behind. I said I was going to try to make one video per week, and sometimes in work and all the rest of those other things, you got the crazy COVID thing going on right now. And you would think that you would have more time, but actually for me, nothing's changed. So I'm just as busy as I was before. Actually, I'm more busy than I was before, but that's good and that's fine. But we are coming back to making more videos here. And not only that, but we're going to get caught up here. So you probably will catch us making a couple videos, and you'll be seeing like maybe a couple videos within a couple of days until we're kind of caught up, because we're kind of 2 weeks behind, and we would like to really have that once a week video for you guys. So first, let me apologize for that, and second, let's get straight into what this video is about. Now, you always are trying to think of ideas and things that you want to do as far as a video for your YouTube channel. And our channel being what it is, one of the first things that came to my mind is defining for people, well, what does RPG Elite mean? I mean, we say that, it's in our motto, it's the name of our channel, but what is it? And I had to sit down and define it. I actually have my handy dandy notes here. Because I'm going to be going through these, because as I sat down to define this, it was a lot more than what I thought. And it's something else when you actually sit down and, think through these things. It became, and it was cool that it became that, because now this is really the meat, besides our general model that you hear me say all of the time. But this is a foundational video. This video here is for people who want to gauge whether or not you're an RPG elite. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to first give you some basics, okay? Now we know RPG elite is a noun, and on its most basic level, it means role-playing gamer elite. Role-playing gamer elite. Now this applies both to players and GMs, so anyone in the spectrum who plays role-playing games. Now, in anticipating your questions, the number one question that I could come up with was, well, how many of these qualities that you're about to list do you have to have in order to be an RPG elite? And the answer to that would be every one of them. You need every one of these in order to be an RPG elite. So again, this video is foundational because there's a lot of offshoot videos that we're going to be doing just in terms of RPG philosophy and things like that. So there are 9 qualities that I listed. Nine qualities on this little piece of paper that I listed to help define what it means to be an RPG elite. And a lot of these is defining what an RPG elite is not. Like the first couple are. So let's jump right into it. Number 1, RPG elites do not play RPGs 7 days a week. We don't play anywhere near that. Okay? RPG elites do not do that. We don't do it 5 days a week. We don't do it 4 days. We only do it once, maybe twice a week. That's a maybe. And that just depends on schedule. But RPG elites don't just throw in and play whatever kind of RPG that we can play. That's not an RPG elite. When I see people who do that, you can go online and you go on these websites and you look for players for your game and you can read their profiles, and as I'm reading their profiles and I'm seeing that they have played like 1 million games, I start just skipping, okay? Unless the years in there have been really long, I just start skipping. But there's other criteria that I look at, which we're about to list right here, that helps me just know whether or not to skip or whether or not to look a little bit further into it to see if they're somebody who I may want to join a game that I'm running. So number one is we don't play games every day. Number two is related to that. So number two, RPG elites do not play every RPG that's out there. We don't play every day of the week, and we don't play every RPG that's out there. You know, once I see that, I'm like, okay, they're playing every day. They're playing every RPG that they can find. Yeah, not for me. Not an RPG elite. Number three, RPG elites are not rules police. And what I mean by that is that, you know, you got some players where every time that something comes up in the game and it may not be exactly as the rules are, they have to say something. No, that's not exactly how it works. No, the rules say this. No, the rules say that. And you kind of going, bro, what is your malfunction? Just relax. I mean, it doesn't have to be, we don't have to go through every single rule for every single thing, but you just have people that are like that, just kind of anal like that. RPG elites are not like that. We are not rules police, and there's a reason why, and we're going to get to that in a second. Number four, and this one is huge. Okay, out of all of these, this one right here is basically the foundation of the foundation here. Okay? This attitude must be something an RPG elite has. I mean, if there were any of all of these 9, if there were any that I would say this is a necessity, this one would be it. Number four, RPG elites role play. Let me say this again. RPG elites role play. We believe it is a requirement, and we feel it is integral to our fun and to a more satisfying RPG experience. Now, let me tell you what that doesn't mean. What that doesn't mean is that you have to be a great role player. It's not what that means. It means that your attitude towards role playing is that, yes, we should be role playing when we play an RPG. You would think, that's a novel idea. You should role play in a role playing game. Now, you might not be good at it, right? But there should be a level of expectation and effort to do so, since we are playing a role playing game. So this is very important right there. And I instantly know when someone tells me, oh, well, you know, it's 50-50 for RP, I just RP and combat, as if combat is not a part of role playing. That's a different video. That's a whole separate video that I can make. So we'll get to that later on, okay? Listen, role-playing is the crux of being in a role-playing game. You know, I keep emphasizing that, right? Because there's a reason for that. It's amazing to me how many people get up around a table or whatever and don't role-play. What kind of sense does that make? I'm not role-playing, but I'm playing a role-playing game. Dude, what is your mouth? No. Not RPG elite, bro. And definitely, if you don't like role playing or anything like that, you don't like it. There's the thing. You don't like it. You know, you may not be comfortable at it, right? And that's fine. But when you say you don't like it, you don't necessarily want to do it, and you don't have the willingness to do so, not RPG elite. And for me personally, I wouldn't give you the time of day as far as a game, being in one of my games or playing in a game that you're a part of, because, which leads us to number 5, an RPG elite will not play with any and everyone. We're picky about the people that we play with. Very picky about the people that we play with. We would rather play with like-minded individuals, so people who are RPG elite. That makes sense, right? So we would rather go that route. But there are some people out there, I mean, we may say, okay, well, we could play with them. We don't play with toxic people, but I think that's across the board, okay? No matter what your philosophy is, nobody wants to play with toxic people, okay? So that's just, I think that's a given. But RPG elites are a little bit pickier when it comes to the kind of people that they play with. It's nothing personal, and we're not trying to be super snobs, But there's a reason why we do this. We're going to go down and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But we just don't play with any and everyone. We don't necessarily, actually, there's this thing that, oh, well, if it's got a lot of people, it must be a good game. Wrong. That's absolutely wrong. A lot of people doesn't mean that the game is better. The sessions are going to be better. It doesn't mean that at all. And we have to be picky about the type of people that we play with if we want to get the most out of our RPG experience. Number six, RPG elites know the rules of the game they play. Now, that's different from being rules police. That is different from being rules police. That's different from saying you got to do this rule, this rule, this rule, and this rule. Oh, that's not the rule. Oh, that rule. No, we shouldn't do it like that because the rules say. No, that's rules police. But we do know the rules of the game that we're playing. We don't come in, stop every 5 minutes because we didn't do our due diligence and our homework to at least understand the basics of the game and how the basic mechanics of the game operate. So when we get together, it could just roll smoothly. That is what we want to do. Now, people who, and this just is a pet peeve of mine, but it would seem like you're getting ready to play a game and you're going to be in a campaign. And this might be for a while. And this is something you've discussed, I would imagine. And so you would go someplace just to at least learn the basics of the game, the core of the game, the simplicity of the game. So you could just, you can get on, basics in combat, basics in movement, things like that. When you don't know like simple things about the game, then you really need to go and learn those things. But we know the rules of the game because we take this seriously. Number seven, RPG elites get together to play an RPG. Now, I know what you're saying. Shouldn't that be a given? Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. You got that guy over there, he's playing with his phone, right? You got this guy over here and he's diddling, trying to make another character. You got this guy over here and he's reading the rule book. Blah, on and on and on and on, ad infinitum, ad nauseum. Okay? All these people who are not here to actually play, because then when we get into the actual play of the game, and then they say, oh, what? Because they have no idea. They've been doing something else. No, we're here to actually play. Why? Because time is life and we don't like to waste our time. Plus the fact because we have this attitude, then we don't want to waste anybody else's time. Did you get that? We do not want to waste anybody else's time because time is life. And so when we're getting together and we're playing a game, we are getting together to play. We're paying attention. We're trying to immerse ourselves in the game. We're participating. We're not, playing on our phones. We're not looking at the rule books or reading the rule books or reading a book or something else or, doodling on a piece of paper. Or we're in the game. We're here to play. That's an RPG elite attitude. Number 8, RPG elites focus on the story, not the system. Now, I don't like Roll20 systems. Not a fan. Never been a fan. I'll play Roll20 systems, though. I won't let that prevent me from playing a game. Because for an RPG elite, it's more about, what's the story about? What's the genre about? What kind of mix of characters were you thinking about? How about the setting? Where will this be set at? Is this a certain city? Is this totally made up? I mean, what's the tone of the campaign? See, those are things that are important to an RPG elite. The system is secondary. Now, we know there are some systems out there that's just broke. Okay? But you can fix that stuff, right? Everybody does. Makes their own homebrew rules to go with the system, to fix the bad parts of the rules. So we fix those and make up our own rules because it's more about the story. It's about the story. It's not about the system. I know people who, because it's a system that they've never played before, they say, oh, well, it's a system I never played before, so I can't play it. Then how in the world did you start playing the system that you're playing now? You knew how to play that system out of the box? Of course not. So learn how to play, but it's not about that for an RPG elite. They're like, oh, okay, well, I never played that system before, but I'm not really concerned about that. I'm concerned about the story. I'm concerned about genre. I'm concerned about mood and tone. I'm concerned about setting. All of those things are way more important to an RPG elite than whether it's a certain system or not. Last one, number 9. Number 9 is this: RPG elites support their GM. You might have certain players who will learn a certain section of the game better than everybody else, just so people can just go to them for the answer for something in particular. They support their GM. Let me tell you, because it's good, because even GMs don't know everything, right? So if a player knows that off the top of the mind, they'll be like, oh no, I know this, it's this. That's helping the GM. That's supporting the GM. I've got players in my campaign, been with me for years now, and I've got players who have done they're great when it comes to GM support. They are great when it comes to GM support. I got one guy over here making character sheets, another guy over here making laminated sheets that he brings to the game for everybody to use. You know, some main tables that we use. I've got all of these guys pitching in to buy me gifts, and I'll tell you, I'm not going to tell you about this now, but just because they appreciate the work that I put into the game so that we all can have a more immersive and enjoyable experience. So RPG elites will support their GM. You know, they're not going to come and expect the GM to do everything under the sun. They're going to take the initiative and be like, oh, and they might ask the GM, hey, you know, would you mind if I did this, or would you mind if I did that? And the GM, most GMs are going to be like, oh man, you know, go to town, you know, do your thing, chicken wing. Because it just helps them, and it helps the whole session. It helps the campaign. It helps move things along. It helps things to be, it helps the players believe that they have an investment in this campaign. You know, sometimes you get these GMs and they just want to run everything and rule everything. But if you allow your players to do things, then they'll feel like a part of it and invested in it. And trust me, the whole attitude of group sessions will change and become that much more better. Did I say mo better? Like Mo Better Blues? I said mo better. That much better. All right. So those are the 9 qualities that an RPG elite has. You must have all of them. You must have every one. There's no half-stepping when it comes to being an RPG elite. So I know you have got your opinions when it comes to that. You can go ahead and leave them in the comments. And hey, don't worry, ain't nothing wrong with being wrong. Because you will be, probably, if you disagree. But that's fine, you know. Hey, much love here. You know what I'm saying? All right. Well, that's it, folks. Foundational video right here. So go back through it, see if you agree. Actually, I'll put some of them down below. I'll just list them all down below. And then just go ahead and make some comments about it. And we can go ahead and we can talk about it even a little bit more. Well, this is Servant of Shiloh. And we're signing off here with happy gaming.